If you guys enjoy this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and today we're back with another figure review. Today we're taking a look at the Hedorah figure that I got recently from AliExpress, a bootleg movie monster series, Hedorah 1971. Now, for a little bit of background, this is going to be obviously bootleg of that specific figure, which I do not own, nor do I plan on getting now that I especially have this guy. But also just because I just wanted some more show era monsters on my shelf. And considering the fact that Playmates has basically canned their line for classic stuff and Bandai's, I'm just going to say distribution here really sucks. So we like barely get anything where I'm from, so this was basically the best option for anything Hedorah. So I wasn't willing to shell out like who knows how much money they're asking for the monster arts these days. So I got what I could afford, and this is what I got. So with that said, this is the newest edition, well, one of two newest additions to my shelf, and we're gonna take a look at the big gloopy smog monster himself. So with that said, let's get on with the review. First things first is sculpt and paint. And the one thing that it's gonna really kind of jut out at you is mainly the color of Hedorah. Instead of like the dark, goopy, brownish green, it's more of like a lighter chrome green. It's almost like they took a snapshot of Hedorah and brightened the saturation up and then got this color. Well, for the main body. So automatically, it's not necessarily accurate, but it still looks like Hedorah, even though he was never this color. And he's also a lot more shinier, which is weird because the other Hedorahs are more like matte, I would say, as far as like color scheme. And so this one's got a bit more glossy. Almost looks like a mecha Hedorah. Maybe I just gave Toho like another $1 million idea. Get on it, guys. Anyway, so for the eyes, they actually do have molded details. However, you can see the eye paint on this one at least is a little bit off center. You can kind of see the eye sculpt right here, and then everything's a bit off to the side. Same thing with this one, although they got a little bit more accurate down there. And so we have like the blood red eye, and then the yellow iris, and then the black pupil. So definitely looks pretty nice, and I do like how they're still slanted to the like up and down like how it is in the movie, because if you look at it from this side, that just looks creepy as hell. Imagine Hedorah with like regularly placed eyes. Anyway, we have like more like the goopiness, like all the sludge on him, of course with the more chrome color. So you can see this big like sludge and then kind of like gooping down, which at least they kept like the goop like overlapping each other, because you think they would just like cut that off, but no. Going to the top of the head though, we actually have some sprays of gold, and that's actually going to be something you'll see quite a bit with this figure. Is there's a lot of sprays of gold, but going down to the chest area where we have these weird ketchup stains. And I understand that Hedorah is also partially red, especially within the chest region, but it wasn't necessarily like this, and it just kind of looks a little Like, there's even parts of it where it's like not fully painted. They almost like, you know what this looks like? Acrylic paint. They took like a very sloppy acrylic paint and they just went and then just called it a day. Didn't even bother to mask the paint or whatever. But then again, it is a bootleg. It's a you get what you pay for type scenario, so I understand why. But just like everything else on this figure actually looks somewhat decent to really good, and then that's just there. So one thing, bootlegs always had that one thing that kind of turns them down a little bit. That's kind of what this is for this one. Going to the back of Hedorah, which we're going right back to the back. Again, we can see the gold here, and we have like this big lump here, almost like this big wart on Hedorah's back, and then we have like a big ring of red, and then we have a more prominent gold color. It almost looks a little darker. I mean, that's totally a different shade, unless this is literally just this just caked on it and just like really focused in one area. Because remember, the more like thicker you make a color with paint, the more thicker and goopier it's going to look, versus this one where it looks more like a light spray. So maybe that's what it is. Because I don't imagine them busting out the entire rainbow for this thing. Because Hedorah is anything but the rainbow. Anyway, to the sides, we do have more of like that nice detail. As you can see here, like all these like lumps and crevices kind of overlapping each other, heading down. And then here you have the hands, which are the arms. At the bottom of them, more sludge, a little bit mellow with the detail. But you do get a fair amount of the spray, which is actually glossy, actually got some glitter inside of it, which is actually really nice, and I do like how they feature that. The top of the arms don't really feature anything aside from the chrome vinyl material, but I do like how they kind of keep it hidden, and then you look at it from below, and then you can see it. For the legs, very stumpy, sludgy little things, and yeah, they definitely have like that. This thing is oozing down, even though he's not really oozing in the movie. It's just supposed to give off the illusion or like the look. Because you look at this guy from like a standstill, yeah. And then you kind of have like all these like little toes, little bits of sludge and smog. I mean, he is the smog monster after all. And then we get like this long friggin' tail with not surprisingly no spray underneath. But you do get a fair amount of detail with it. Lots of nice compact detail with it. And it has a decent position. You know, it's not like flat. It kind of goes up, back down, but it also like twists on itself. So it almost goes like to one side a bit. So it's kind of a bit of a dynamic pose. Now, something I find interesting is that a lot of the other bootleg MMS figures I have actually have the copyright info wiped off. Just to kind of show you what I mean, I was talking about this in my original Gigan review, but you can kind of see there's like little smudge marks in the sculpt where there would have been like some copyright info. I'm trying to find like the made in China part. Does this thing even have like a made in China? Oh no, this was the made in China, I think. But you can definitely see like there's a bit of smudge on the feet. For Hedorah, they literally just left it alone. You can clearly see it says Bandai China, copyright trademark Toho, and then we have like the little emblem on this thing, which like kind of begs the question why they did it for Hedorah but not for the other kaiju. It's just something interesting to point out, but you know, that's a little something. So of course we again all the various sludge details do look nice, and something I also want to point out that I also saw is there's also like little imprints of like little dark black paint here, and then probably throughout the other parts of the body, but I can't really seem to find anything else. I mean, they're probably like, okay, they're like just little specks, because you got one here, one there. Trying to find some others. It's kind of hard because of all the shades on this guy. Nah, whatever. Anyway, that's going to basically be it for the sculpt and paint. It's a very well-detailed figure, and I would say that this is probably my favorite, detail-wise, of the MMS bootlegs I have. But at the same time, the paint's definitely going to be on the more unique side, because it doesn't have a lot of paint. But what paint it does have, it's good. Aside from that, so sculpt and paint, I'm actually going to have to give an 8 out of 10 for this guy. Really, the only major dud is going to be this, like the ketchup stains, so that's a bit of a... Also, just on second thought, I think Hedorah would make an awesome Gamera villain, just because, like, Gamera's whole shtick is, like, being the guardian of the universe and friends all children, and Hedorah kind of, like, stands against it, being, like, for pollution, so... makes sense. Next up for articulation, we have, well, sadly, articulation is kind of where this guy falls flat. See, unlike other figures where they actually added more posability, I think this one either keeps the same or keeps it less. I don't know. I don't own the original MMS, but there's nothing at the head, nothing at the legs, and no swivel at the tail. but instead we get two very limited swivels here for the arms. So we can kind of go back, kind of go forth. Yeah, you can kind of see what I mean, like the dark points. So thankfully, because it's made of vinyl, it's not gonna like rip the moment or break the moment you twist and turn it, but just know it's really only meant to have like a bit of movement, like a little bit of up and down, and that's really it. So unfortunately for articulation, it's only got the arms. It's really 2 points. I, I understand the design, but considering the fact that I have a Hedorah figure, a legit one that can actually move a bit more than this, I'm gonna have to give this a 3 out of 10 for articulation. So yeah, that's what it gets. And so for some size comparisons, or I guess the main comparison I wanted to do for this video, was to compare it with the only other Hedorah figure I currently own in my collection, and that's the Mezco Hedorah from the Godzilla vs. Hedorah 1971 set, which I recently just put out a brand new version of my original review from a few years ago. So if you want to watch that, go take a look at that. And as you can tell, they are vastly different. This one, again, has a much darker color scheme. This one has a much more glossy one. This one is a lot smaller. This one's a lot bigger, but that's to be kind of expected because one is in the 5.XL line, which is like smaller 4-inch figures. And there, so it's Godzilla's a bit shorter than it. I mean, it makes sense because Godzilla is shorter than Hedorah. And then this one's in the 6-inch scale, which again was the whole reason why I wanted to buy this, and I didn't want to pair my Mezco Hedorah up against some of my Bandai Godzillas. But just to kind of like showcase, again, length, pretty much no contest. The back shots here. I know what you're thinking, you dirty-minded creeps. I will say this one definitely has the better back profile, just because, like, that big seam line ain't doing it any favors. And, I guess this side as well. There you go. So, yeah. The Mezco Hedorah, the Hedorah, you can kind of see why. I'll say this here, that I do prefer the overall sculpt of the bootleg over the Mezco Hedorah, just because it's a bit more, what's the word? It somehow looks more accurate to me. I can't describe why, because both of them almost look the exact same, but I just almost prefer this one. But I do prefer the paint job and articulation on this Hedorah, because you can see very well that this one has a head swivel, cleared out arm swivel so you can get a bit more range out of them. Nothing at the legs, but we do actually have a tail joint. Granted, it's not a lot of range, but it still gives you the articulation. And I kind of feel like what they should have done almost was like bootleg this guy and then just blown him up. But that said, it's all down to you which one you want to buy. But personally, I'm happy with my 2 Hedorahs. Never actually thought I'd actually wind up with any Hedorah, really. And for some more size comparisons, here he is with his co-stars of the film, Godzilla himself, also from the 1971 Mezco set, hitting my tripod, in the flying form of Hedorah, also from the Mezco set. And I'm still kind of bummed about that clear base being missing, Mezco. And here he is with the other Godzilla figures I ordered along this guy, with Gigan, Shoera, and Mechagodzilla 2002, which, yes, his review's up next. And finally, here he is with some NECA Godzilla figures with the Godzilla 2014 and the 1954 Godzilla. And as you can see, he's about the same height as my 2014, but the 54 is a bit taller than both of them. So, yeah, and then again, I don't have my 2014 rearing up. So, okay, so now he's the shortest. And so overall, what do I think of this figure? He's not bad. I'll at least say that, The articulation is definitely going to be his biggest downfall, and the lack of paint and variety is definitely going to be his big like thorn in the foot. But at the same time, his sculpt is immaculate. It's really good. And I would say that the paint he does have is rather nice as well. And I do like his size at the same time. So overall, though his articulation is going to be a bit weak, I'm going to have to give this figure a 7 out of 10. It's good. It's not the best thing in the world. But I feel like for a cheap Hedorah figure you can find on like AliExpress, that's where I got this guy, and just snatch it up for a few bucks, wait a few weeks for shipping, go right ahead. You are destined for greatness with this guy. Then, that said, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.